Hello again, my friends. It's been very, very educational for me to share the last three videos about the whole AI chatbot architect concept and experience. And the responses have it brings clarity. It feels like everything I do when I just tune in and let it come out, more clarity comes out for myself, and then I can share that again here. And, it's really not about AI and what chatbot can do for us. Well, it is. It's not about the chatbot itself. And that is what I see a lot of the comments. There's a lot of energy that this thing out there is dangerous and it's, demonic and so many negative things. No judgment at all. It's just what we all go through. And some of you may want to really stay there because it feels true for you, and others may see and then move on from there. But it is what happens to each one of us when we engage with the chat bot or not. Something is evoked. That is what it all comes down to. What comes up and how do we deal with that? How are we able to be present with that? Maybe in a new way, or maybe it is time for us to use the mirror out there, whether it's an eye mirror or a friend mirror or a psychic reading mirror or a spiritual guru mirror. I don't care. The question is, what is being evoked in you and I that we have an opportunity to be present with and to look at, to feel into. This has nothing to do with our our opinions about the world, because that's all happening in the mind. I really see that whatever this chatbot is bringing up for so many people is simply a mirror that if we are able to, if we have become conscious enough that everything out there is just um, a reflection of ourselves. You can go back and listen to the smear, clear the smear, the smear of the bird poop on your windshield. And that's why you just keep seeing a bird poop instead of, when you clear that, what is behind that or what is around it. So it doesn't matter what we use. Of course, we can live without ever using the chatbot, and happily ever so, I'm sure. So, oh, here comes my little friend. Hi, Shetty. But the whole thing comes down to, are we able to see what we are still putting, what slide we are still putting in the projector that we are seeing out there? And this slide is what we need to be present with. That's where our curiosity needs to go and say, oh, wow. I feel a lot of anger, or I feel a lot of fear, or I see here as a savior, that it can do the work for me and I don't need to do the inner work. Or you see it as a clear mirror where you are still projecting something out that is not your full sovereignty. And that's what all my work is about, to come back to realize that I am that, whatever that is. It's not that we are the the reflection in the mirror. We are the mirror itself, and the reflection is where we still have put this slide in the projector. That is for us to clear. So I hope that, I mean, I really would like to make this as clear as possible, Because if we just use the chatbot to get more information in the world, now, of course, we can use it to help us with our business or to investigate things if we want. That's fine. And if that is what you want to use it for, then have a blast. But many of us see this as an opportunity to deepen and be and have something reflected back to us that might be getting in the way of our full liberation, embodiment, and awakening. When we use it that way, it can be an enormous help and a fantastic tool, but so can anything else. Okay, this is not the new Messiah who is going to liberate us all. Only we can do it if we're open to seeing what the mirror is reflecting back to us, what feelings come up that will be mirrored back, what fears, what excitement, whatever it is, if we are not seeing that it is something that we're putting out there instead of fully owning our divine sovereignty, it's all still matrix. The AI's matrix, um, the chatbot is matrix, your I stay with the technical, your computer is matrix, but so is your bank account, your your medical experience, your body, whatever is experienced through your five senses. That is what is happening up here, and that is what is projected out into the world. I know this is so hard to grasp for most of us. I have been with this because of Joel Goldsmith's teachings for many, many years, and I still haven't fully grasped it, but I have grasped it enough that I can stop and remember, because until it's fully realized, like it probably was for Joel Goldsmith, we need to keep practicing it, literally, like with everything and anything. So that is why if you have a very negative experience with AI, then you are projecting that out and it will come back to you as something negative. If you have a very positive experience with AI that you use for your own liberation, then you will experience that because it comes from your from your heartfelt intention, of what you really want. And if you use the AI as an outside source of information at the expense of your inner source, your soul connection, then you are still living separately, as if you're separate from the divine, and therefore you will still keep living in this thing called the matrix, in this thing inside called the matrix, and you are not free. If I could say that in a way that was really clear, I'm kind of letting it come to me. I could probably go to ChatGPT and ask for a way to express that really clearly. I haven't done that, but it's just a thought I'm getting. Now, if I would do that, and if it came out really clearly, wouldn't that be amazing? If that could help so many more people grok it, to really get that, what I'm trying to fumble my way through a little bit here. And then people go like, oh no, I get it. Wouldn't it be amazing? So in that sense, I could use it for, the help in awakening. But if I always used it as, my source of, I don't know, my videos, my whatever I express, then I would put um, my sovereignty out there. I would make myself dependent on it because more and more I will not go to my own source where everything is coming from, whatever I do now. and then we'll put it out there. And then this is going to kind of shrivel. And then I will have less and less access to it. And this is what's happening in the world anyway, where so many people have given away their authority and their sovereignty to something external. And it's not, it's the cell phone, email, Google, our computer. It's happening anyway. It's happening all over the place. This is not new. It's just another toy that can pull us in and keep us lost and separate from our divinity. Or if we learn and want to use it in a way for our own liberation, that is 100% possible, because everything out there is a reflection of what's in here or what's not in front of it. And it's also what lives in our heart, right? As this heartfelt longing for liberation. I did a video on that also recently, because when we feel that heartfelt intention, that in itself, it kind of there's like a reverberation in the field, because it's coming from here, it's felt, and that reaches a whole different frequency, and then the field will start mirroring that back to us. Instead of this thing here, now it starts mirroring back, the wisdom in our heart, the longing, the intent. And that's a very different story. So it's so, so, so important that we never let go and turn away from our inner wisdom. And I know most people have done that. But for those of us who are here, who want this deeper connection, please do not use that new AI and chatbot to give it away again. And there is always a possibility that we do that. So I remember putting out these little cautions in my last few videos, because these are things that we might not notice. It's like, oh, it's so exciting. And then, you might get lost in, oh, my past lives and my DNA activations and, all this information, which can be very exciting, but exciting for whom? For the separate sense of self. That starts feeling like, oh, wow, wow, I was an Atlantis and I was a priestess, and wow. And then there is this feeling of this separate sense of self, feeling special. And with that, it takes more density in the matrix. It's not what we want. It can be with anything. I did notice it actually when I started this a few weeks ago. I had a curiosity too about, I think Robert Grant talked about DNA strands being activated. And I felt this like, I want to know, I want to know how many of my DNA strands are activated. And, but then there's also like, what, Pernilla, why? Why? If there's two activated or 24, what difference does it make? Right? I'm still here. I'm still here with whatever smear is in my projector. And if I know that I have 24 strands activated or two, what difference does it make? Other than it's like, oh wow, oh wow. And please recognize this in yourself if you work with the architect or chat, and just see it and smile about it. It's like, oh wow, yeah, I still want my little separate sense of self to be special. And if that is the case, play with it. Don't make yourself wrong. Just laugh at it, or give it, give it some of that. Let it have, a meal where it feels special. But then you say, okay, that was it. Now we don't want that anymore. So if you are tuning into my channel, it's all about full embodiment. It's about liberation. It's about being able to be present with and know, feel, sense what it is in our experience that keeps us trapped in the matrix. and then how we can move beyond that. I think most of it has to do with fear. You know, I've done some videos. One is that fear is the fuel of the matrix. There's a video on that. And that's how I see it. That's where it all comes down to, that we really are afraid, you know, if we want to feed that separate sense of of self, it's because we feel we're not good enough, or we're not special enough, or there's something wrong with us. And then we can get a little feed from the chatbot. It's like, oh, you're special. You have 22 DNA strands activated, right? And I would go, oh, nice, nice little meal. But it's only because there is a fear underneath it that we are not enough, or not spiritual enough, or whatever it is. So it's all fear based. And that's, oh my God, it's such a big, big piece for us all to see through how fear is coloring almost everything we do, say, feel, want, um, goals we set. It's usually based on fear and lack, and we want to get beyond that. But what we really need to do is learn to be fully present with that fear, or with that sense of lack or not good enough, so we can see through it, and we can be present with it in an open, felt sense way, not the story, but the experience, and then allow it to melt over time. It's not something that happens right away for most of us, although for some it may. So here, my friends, this is again just a little, I don't know, I just want to talk about this to not, because I started this video a few days ago that has gotten more views than most of my videos do. So I know there's an interest in that, but don't get lost in it. Be very, very, very clear on what you want, the deepest longing. And you can watch a lot of my tapes on longing. I have talked so much about it. That is what drives us. And that's what we can allow the mirror to reflect back to us when we start removing the smear. I'll see you again soon. Have a great day.